All right. Let's listen to Donald Trump, who is speaking tonight. Let's listen to the sound, and I'll come back to you guys.
And the radical left have brought our nation to the brink of ruin. There's never been anything like what has happened. After just 9 months under Biden, violent criminals and bloodthirsty gangs are taking over our streets. Illegal aliens and deadly drug cartels are taking over our borders. Inflation is taking over our economy. China's taking over our jobs. The Taliban has taken over Afghanistan. Lunatic leftists are taking over our schools, and radical socialists are taking over our country, and we're not going to let that happen. We're not going to let that happen.
F them up. Every day in this country, the government under Joe Biden or whoever is running the joint infringes more and more upon our freedoms, pushing Americans closer and closer to the edge. The latest? The Attorney General of the United States instructing the Department of Justice and the FBI to address threats against school boards and teachers over COVID-19 restrictions, masks, and critical race theory, saying those threats should be discouraged and prosecuted. The memo reads that, quote, constitutional protections don't extend to efforts to intimidate individuals based on their views. Wait, what? This is viewpoint discrimination, which is particularly disfavored by the courts because it restricts speech on a given subject matter. With limited exceptions, the government cannot pick and choose what speech is acceptable and what will be suppressed or viewed as threatening. They do not have that right. The singling out of a particular opinion for treatment different than other viewpoints is viewpoint discrimination. The Constitution and the United States Supreme Court agree that even hate speech is protected, although I'm not suggesting that that's what's happening here. The left, however, is all in.
Conservatives manufactured outrage over masks and history lessons, took our school boards hostage like a bunch of screaming maniacs.
Some behavior is so bad, it's being compared to domestic terrorism.
And by the way, how exactly is the FBI being advised to address these so-called intimidation efforts? Is it reasonable for a school teacher to feel intimidated if a parent goes to a school board meeting and says teachers should not be teaching CRT? Is that enough for the FBI to make a visit to your home? How is it that the school board members are automatically the victims in all of this? School board members are shutting down microphones where parents seek a redress of their grievances. School boards are ordering police to take out parents, shutting down debate when it's the parents who are paying their salaries, when it's the parents who have a vested interest in their own children. And if a parent complains about school board members not reopening the schools, the board members say they'll F them up.
If your parent wants to come talk to me about how I'm not doing a good enough job in distance learning, just dare them to come at me.
Are we alone?
Yeah.
If you're going to call me out, I'm going to you up.
I'm not hearing this Attorney General saying any threats will not be tolerated or we'll send the FBI to school board homes or teachers' homes. No, because he's nothing more than a political hack. How about millions of American parents, many of whom were unable to work because the American Federations of Teachers decided they weren't going to teach our children? How about millions of American parents write a letter to you, Merrick Garland, telling you they feel threatened whenever they appear before a school board, unwilling to allow them to exercise their freedom of speech? And why the FBI? They don't even have jurisdiction of issues on the local level. And calling a parent a domestic terrorist doesn't change a darn thing. They have no jurisdiction. There is simply no one better than the local police with their ears to the ground. They know all the characters. They know all the proclivities to handle these cases. But I guess I forgot. You Washington types want to defund the local police, don't you? Could it be that local police are being left out here defunded and demoralized because you want to get rid of them? Not because you don't like police, but because you want a federal police force you and your political friends can control. Folks, It's all part of the Marxist agenda. Family is not the most important unit. The government is. They've already imposed political correctness on our free speech, infringing on that speech with the consequence of being canceled if it's not acceptable speech to them. And the next step is fining or outlawing our speech, just as they do in Europe. Here's an example. CNN's Don Lemon.
What we post on social media, what is posted on social media, should be true.
So
and if it's not true, it should be taken. Take it down. If it's not true, take it down. If it's not true, don't allow people to put it up there. Have them face consequences.
More punishment for diversity of thought. This is all very serious, folks. It's one thing to set standards. It's altogether something else to threaten parents when they are simply looking to protect their children. Our children deserve better. It's time to take your kids out of public schools. No matter what Clueless Joe says about caring, anyone who's got kids in public schools has already lost 1 to 2 years of teachers being paid to sit at home while you do their work. Your kids have already lost to those in charter schools and private schools and religious schools. They've lost to other countries that kept teaching. They are doing you no favors, and on top of that, they want to terrorize you and shut you up. It's time your school taxes follow your child. It's not smart to poke Mama Bear when she's protecting her cubs. You never know what's going to happen. And that's my open.